welcome back to New Bits with Vac and Vinnie. We are so glad you are here.
We are.
If this is your, yes, sir, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, thanks for giving us a shot. We have an excellent show for you. We are going to show a video review.
Yeah.
If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know episode 24. I brought a bit that I've been doing. I did it on my dry bar special. It's a bit about my last name. I always wanted to change it. I always wanted to do it as it really happened because it was based on a true story, as you know, Vac.
Yeah,
and
right.
Yep, I brought it to the podcast. Vac came up with some great ideas.
It's what I do.
That's what he does.
What I do.
That's why he's here. That's right. I did it on stage last weekend in Lexington, Kentucky at Comedy Off Broadway. I was fairly pleased, but as Vac and I have said so many times on this podcast, sometimes, even though I've done this bit a number of times, this was a new form of that bit. And as we've said many times on this podcast, it doesn't always come out right the first time.
It either comes out to perfection and then you're screwed because it'll never happen again like that. Or it's like a shit show. And you're like, what happened? What happened?
What happened? So true. Yeah. It's so true. And that's, it's probably more frustrating, Vac, when it comes out perfect the first time and you get all these laughs and then you're like, all right, I got a new bit.
Yeah.
And then you do it again, nothing. And then nothing. And then nothing.
It's one of the things about what we do that makes it so interesting, makes it thrilling and frustrating. And it's almost like
Absolutely.
it's like if you go to a club and let's say it's a Thursday through a Sunday and Thursday night just rocks. It just kills. You know the rest of your weekend you're fucked because it'll never be that good. And you're thinking, what a great club.
Yeah.
Thursday was phenomenal. I can't wait for Saturday. And then Saturday comes, it's date night and she's not laughing or he's like, oh, it's all this crap. And it's almost like the Thursday crowd was just more relaxed and the Saturday crowd was a little too uptight. Sometimes I think we get like that, Sometimes we roll out a bit because we're excited about it, but you're going to do okay. You're going to squeeze it in, and it goes great. And then now you got to think about it. Now it gets in your head. Now you're really thinking about it. How did I say that word?
Yeah.
How did I say that? As opposed to just letting it flow.
Yeah.
When you're in your
flow that's why taping is...
When you're in your flow state, it rolls.
Yeah.
And when you're not in the flow state, man, because now we get in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh, if it went that well the first time, the second time's got to be even better. I'll really have it down.
Yeah. It's an amazing thing. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. And I've said it before, I can count on one hand the times that a bit came out right the first time and stayed right,
Yeah.
The rest, they have to age like a wine and you have to do it again and again and again. You got to beat it and shape it. It's like you're sculpting something and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's exactly a great way to put it, Vinny. You're sculpting something. Yeah. You think it's done, right? Then you take a step back. Oh, I could maybe maneuver this a little bit. It's exactly the same. That's a great analogy. I'm surprised you came up with it.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh,
you got to chip. You got to chip it away. You got to chip this away. Chip this away. Oh wait, let me add a little clay here. Blah 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 blah. But it's I don't know. It's an amazing thing. But I got to tell you, man, I love it. I love shaping bits. I love the process. And one of the things that Vac and I have been promising from the very beginning is we were going to be extremely transparent about the process.
Just like politicians.
So
that's right.
Right.
Transparent.
Exactly. We agreed, both him and I, that we were going to show you videos, fly or die. So let's just give him a look, Vac. This is from episode 24. I brought it to the podcast, and Vac helped me out with it. This is the reworked version for the first time in front of an audience. Let's take a look at it.
My last name's Coppola, ladies and gentlemen. It's spelled Coppola, just like two famous Hollywood directors we know and love, right? Sophia and Francis Ford. They pronounce it Coppola. We pronounce it Coppola. Now, depending on where you are in the world, both ways are correct because it's a very common Italian last name. And if you don't believe me, check out a New York phone book in one of the boroughs, if you can find a phone book. Coppola takes up a lot of pages. But for the record, I have never pronounced our name Coppola, unless I'm making reservations in Los Angeles. And then I'm saying Coppola. Yeah, actually happened by accident, didn't even know it was a thing, man. My wife wakes up, we're in Los Angeles at the time, she wanted to go to Easter Sunday. She'd go, Easter brunch, Sunday in Los Angeles. Let's go to brunch, it's Easter Sunday! By the way, that's how my wife sounds whenever she suggests something insane. Every other day, completely normal. You know, hey, Vinny, will you go to the store and pick us up a carton of milk? Sure, baby. We should go to Easter brunch! You know, we should stop drinking coffee and just drink tea! Okay, whatever. So I said, it's Easter Sunday. That brunch restaurant is crowded every Sunday. You got to make reservations 2 weeks in advance. Easter Sunday, we're never going to get. She goes, just give it a shot. I call them up, and they give me the whole thing, you know. I'm sorry, we're booked, but if you leave your name, spell your name for me, we'll put you on the waiting list. Spell my name for him. I swear there was a second of silence. The guy comes back. Mr. Coppola, we'll have your table ready at 1. It's cool, right? It's cool because it works, but it doesn't work anywhere else but Los Angeles. Lexington, Kentucky, you guys don't care. I call up a restaurant like, yeah, I heard you spell it right. I heard you spell it the first time, pal. We're booked. Even New York. New York don't care. Nice try, buddy. There's 6 of them here.
And there you have it. It's out there now,
It's out there. You can't take that back. It's out there forever.
Can't take it back. It's out there forever. As I've said to Vac before, you know, I don't. The reason I don't have a CD is because I'm such a nut. A neurotic maniac. You know, one thing goes wrong during a recording and I'm like, what? I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so I always want people to see a polished thing, and right there, that was not polished. I fumbled through it like an amateur. It's an amazing thing that happens. You know, you practice and practice and practice a bit, and then you get up on stage in front of an audience and suddenly you're searching for it for some reason.
Yeah. You know, I think you know, Vinny, I don't know about you, but when I've tried new bits, you know, from this podcast or whatever, sometimes, even though we've been doing this for a total of what, 60 years?
Probably.
You figure, okay, well, I know what I'm doing out there. I mean, even if the bit doesn't go well, I get out of it. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But then you start thinking, wait a minute, I'm a professional. I've been doing this a long time. I better get this right. It's not open mic night.
Yeah.
We're getting paid to be out there.
That's right.
And so then it's like I forget what comedian I was watching recently on or whatever. I forget. Somebody very well known was saying that now that he does these big arenas and theaters and stuff, the pressure's on. But you figure, what are you talking about? All these people are coming to see you. They love you. You know, but he goes, but that's it. I can't disappoint them. It's not just some comedy club somewhere. I had an off show. It's going to be on their way home from the show. He wasn't that funny. We were disappointed. And it wasn't even that part of it. He just wanted to make sure he was able to bring it. So in other words, the pressure's on. And even though we're not at that level, we're being paid to do these shows. I can't have my boss, the cruise director here go, Greg, what happened? Because that gets in a report and goes back. Same with you. We're at a club. We can't have the club go, he was okay. He tried some new stuff. It can't look like you're trying new stuff on Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see, and I guarantee you, the audience that was watching that performance, and by the way, that was an excellent show. The audience, it was probably just over half full. It was Derby week in Lexington, Kentucky. The Derby. Nobody's going out on Derby week. Everybody is, partying. They're doing Derby parties and stuff like that. So the club was just over half full, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was getting paid, and it went okay. And the audience wasn't aware that I was fumbling, but I can see every single mistake I made, and but despite all that, I know that's going to be a strong bit.
Yeah,
I know that because I've like you said, 60 years between us of experience. I've been in that situation so many times. I know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And this bit is going to work. I just have to, be more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about, doing a bit for the first time, sometimes you do fumble through it. The next time you do it on stage, it's weird. It's like seared on your brain, it won't be like that. It won't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Oh, absolutely. You have to do a bit several times before you can really assess, did I get lucky the first time, or did I just get unlucky the first time? You got to do a couple times. You get it in there, and as you say, you sculpt it. There's a line in there or a word you're going to get rid of or change because now you've heard it.
Yeah.
Or something else might crop up that will, from doing it, that you go, why don't I try this? As we're on stage, it could even happen. So, you got to give it a few times before you go, eh.
Absolutely. And proud to have you and all our listeners in on the process.
They should comment. Anybody who has a comment about the clip you showed should tell us.
Yeah. And if well, I lost what I was going to say. Yeah.
We're sucking up to the listeners. You said.
Yeah, we were sucking up to the listeners. Yeah. So that's it. That was the first time on stage in front of an audience, and like I said, I wasn't disappointed. I'm the only, it got laughed in the right places.
Yeah.
My biggest mistake was miswording a couple of things and making a couple of setups clunky, but it got an okay response, and I was happy with it. I was happy.
Okay, what you just said there is a really good point about this. You felt some of the setups were clunky. I find that when I try something new, if there's going to be an issue, I'm going to have it with the setup, not the punch so much.
I know.
I don't know if that makes sense.
So true.
But
it makes 100% sense.
Like I've done the bit a few times with my ex-wife had vertigo, and the setup was the issue. It was she had vertigo. Do you guys know what that is? People get this. Yeah, we know. Okay, maybe some people. Was I getting too babbly with it, or was I not explaining it enough. Like you don't know. You want to give the audience credit, but maybe don't give them all too much credit. And so I find that the setups can be a little bit of a problem as opposed to the punchline. And that's what you just said. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. That's exactly where it went wrong. And there's ways I can streamline the setup to make the punchlines more punchier. And I have all these notes here. We won't go over them because I don't want to belabor it. But I did want to show our listeners that we want them in on this process. And and there it is.
Because we suck, so we need help. Yeah, we suck. So
it doesn't always come out right the first time. Right. And there you have it.
Right.
But you will see a finished version of this, just like you're going to see finished versions of the other bits that I and Vac have discussed on this podcast. So anyway.
All right.
Thanks.
Good. Thanks for showing that.
Yeah, man. Did you have anything you wanted to work on?
I've had this one idea, and I don't know if it's. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you. We'll see. That's what this is, right?
Okay.
So, okay. I talk about in my act, that I'm divorced and all that, and I try to point out that we've discussed it. We point out why, and I'm dating now that I'm older and all that kind of stuff. By the way, the dating older stuff, I got to send that. I have that. That's been working pretty well with dating the nun and all that.
Oh, I love it.
It's my fault that I haven't sent you at least an audio recording of that. I should do that tonight. Anyway.
Okay.
My ex-wife is actually, there's two ideas. Highly intelligent. She's highly intelligent, and she's an accountant, but she's also a hillbilly. So, so I'm going to write down. I've always wanted to do, a thing about how women look at math differently than men do. And one day she came home with all these packages, and she's like, I'm exaggerating it here a little bit, obviously, for artistic license. She goes, honey, I just saved us $500. I'm like, what? How'd you save us $500? Well, I put all these clothes at 50% off. So in other words, in her mind, she could have spent $1,000, but she only spent $500.
Yeah.
So she saved $500. Every man who's listening to this she just spent $500. But every woman's listening going, she did a good job. She saved $500.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the bit. I don't know if there's a bit there.
Oh, my gosh. That definitely feels like there's a bit there.
I mean, maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough to go, let me just point out one thing. Lady, we look at math differently than men do. It's like it goes back to the bit we went over about how women can find anything that's right up in front of their face, and men, we can't see it. And there's a scientific reason for it. But I think men and women look at numbers differently.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But she's an accountant, so she doesn't mess around with numbers. She's smart. Like, she knows how to do it. But
yeah. That's I can definitely feel like there's something there. It feels like it's one of those things that would need more analogies. And I'm racking my brain trying to come up with situations that I've been in where a girl, rather a woman, I was dating, presented some kind of screwed up math to me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not right.
That's not right.
Yeah. How did you arrive at that? You saved us $500, did you? Well, why is our bank account $500 light?
Because it could have been $1,000 light. Like, that's what it would be.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of all those insurance commercials, those car insurance commercials where they say, "Oh, you can save $600 a month."
Yeah,
Who's paying
yeah,
all that for insurance?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
who's
yeah.
who's paying for that? You know, uh, it's this false math. You know,
Yeah, right, right, right.
yeah, it's like all women are inherently marketing experts when it comes to lying about numbers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. In her
it,
mind,
it, it, it's it
it was saving
yeah.
$500.
Yeah, $500. I don't know.
But
What
not
would you
only
put
that,
that with? What?
I'm sorry, Vinny. Not only that,
Yeah.
it was stuff she didn't really need. Like, I understand if you go to the grocery store and you have $30 of coupons on things you need, you could say, I saved this $30. We needed all these items.
Yeah.
They're necessities, food and whatever. We got all the stuff, and I saved $30. But these were kind of things that she got that, well, as long as it's on sale, I'll get it. It wasn't like it was clothes for work that she needed.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
she needed
Yeah.
those clothes for work, I get it. She really
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
need 5 pairs of the same shoes in 5 different colors. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. 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 What would you lead in with that? What would surround that? Like what would is there something that, or have you even not even considered putting that into your act yet?
no, that's I've never mentioned that on stage at all. The only thing I talk
Yeah.
about is when I get divorced, we became 2 different people. So I talk
Yeah.
about that. I'm dating now, and I think maybe I could put that in there. Like, I could try the stuff about, I haven't been able to try it yet. Women can find anything, especially if it's up close. Like, and maybe another thing that was different was we just looked at math differently.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey man, was it a and if you don't want to talk about this, I understand. And was it like a messy divorce? Was it like the lawyers and all that type
no,
of stuff?
no.
It was real quick, was cut and dry, and boom, boom, boom.
Papers are signed by
Did
the
you guys?
judge within a month.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So there was no like because where I'm going is like she would say like like if you like, I don't know, that's mine, I want that, no, that's mine, and then suddenly no, that's worth $800. That's only worth $20. Like girl math.
No, that never.
What are you
No,
talking? Oh,
no.
if it's worth $800, then I'm keeping it.
Yeah, right, right.
You know.
No, nothing like
Yeah.
that.
Nothing like that. Okay. Well, if I like to stay as close to how things really
Oh, yeah.
happen as I can.
Oh,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
you don't want to. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
whole act, anything when I talk about me or anything that it's really happened, and obviously we take artistic license. It's like writing a song. You really didn't have 20,000 girlfriends, but I mean, you do it to make a point. So yeah, I try
Which is exactly what. Sorry.
I try to keep it as close to reality as possible.
Yeah, which is exactly why I wanted to do the name bit, my last name bit,
Yeah.
as it really happened, because it was a real thing that really happened. And the way I've been doing it and the way I did it in my Dry Bar special was I did it like, hey, this is how I get reservations. This,
Yeah.
and I thought that was funny, and it was funny, and it got laughs. But I was like, I should tell the story how it really happened. So anyway, yeah. So you don't want to invent a situation and I wouldn't either. Oh man, oh well, you know what? I don't know if this is in any kind of help. I used to date this one girl who just loved to spend money, and it didn't matter. It did not matter. Like I remember one time I took her on a road trip, and she was with me for the weekend, and she got up early, and she goes, do you mind? And I just got paid, so I had like a stack of cash. Do you remember the days when you would do the show, and then the manager or the club owner would take you in the back, hand you a check, you'd sign the back, and he'd hand you cash?
Yeah.
You remember those days? Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been to a club that did that in probably a decade, but anyway, that's what they used to do. So I got, I was a string of one-nighters. I had this big stack of cash, and she goes, you mind if I woke up early. She goes, you mind if I take the car and go to Walmart? And I went, sure. Yeah. Take it easy.
Yeah.
She came back with a carload of just, I saw this was on sale. It was detergent and just silly things like, here's a rake, just dumb things that she's just pushing a cart through Walmart and just putting them it didn't care, just did not care, just wanted to spend money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that can.
She wasn't like that.
Is it a thing that women, is it the thing about women, they just want to spend money? Yeah.
My ex was not like that.
No. Thank God.
No.
Yeah. This girl was short-lived.
Yeah, you gotta blow that one away, man. Bye-bye.
I was amazed at the useless junk that she brought into the hotel room. I'm like, what did you get? Why?
I worked my ass off for this month.
I only spent $30. Why? We don't need. Now we got to drive around with this for 2 days.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Taking up space in the car.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything to this, or just if I could just weave it in as part of one of the things that we differed on.
I got to tell you, Vac, there's definitely something here, right? I can feel it. I can't come up with. It feels like it's one of those things where you need like a boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
it's like a coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Come in threes.
Yeah.
And
that's like saying
it's like the insurance thing. It's like those insurance companies that they always claim that you're going to save this much if you switch insurance companies. How is that possible? What do you? Where is that money? Where if I switch? So you're saying if I switch insurance companies, suddenly I'm going to have that in my bank account?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean to tell me that now that you went to the store and you're talking to your ex-wife and you went to the store, now we got that money in their bank account because it looks $500 light to me.
Yeah. You didn't save money, you spent less.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
maybe it's not about math. Maybe it's about
maybe it's English.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, what's the word? Is vernacular what I'm trying to say, or is it?
Okay.
It's women. They have a different way of talking. They have a different vernacular than us. To them, spending $500 for things that were 50% off is saving money.
Maybe it's
it's okay to do. It's okay to do as long as you're saving money. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. You're right though. There's got to be an analogy thing. Saying you spent $500.
It feels like it's got to be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, saying you spent $500 and you claim to have saved $500 is like. Boom.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
That's, to a man, that's like saying, what? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Saying
you saved $500 when in reality you just spent $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to
a man, that's tough but I can feel it there. It's on the tip of my tongue, tip of my brain. It's right there. There's something there. Yeah, so I think you're right, buddy. I think it needs an analogy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a joke or a bit or just an observation.
Could be a throwaway line. It could be a throwaway line, but it's something. It's something that all couples are going to instantly relate to.
Okay.
Everybody's been there. Everybody's been there. Whether it's been a situation like I had where somebody just wanted to buy junk, or somebody saved 50% off on all these items.
Yeah,
that's tough, man. I don't know, because oh man. It's here we are on this podcast where the whole premise of this podcast is we write new bits, but I'm coming up short here on that one. But I do know this. I do know that it definitely needs an analogy, and it's probably maybe not a bit, but it's definitely a funny line that would be great in your show.
Yeah,
and go along with the I don't know. You do a lot of stuff about dating and about your ex-wife, so probably anywhere, but definitely a funny concept.
I think.
I mean, whether it's women speak differently or have different definitions of things, or women have different math, however you define it, I think there's funny there.
I'm gonna start putting it in.
Yeah.
Because I think I could just sit it in there with the divorced kind of. Here's why we got divorced.
Yeah.
Maybe a different vernacular, and I think women would agree with her, and men would agree with me. Okay, what do you think of this? And just maybe put it out there and see if there's even something live in it that the crowd might respond to, and then maybe we can play that and work on it. All right.
Yeah,
but I got the idea of the analogy out of from you, so I appreciate that. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, good, man.
Hopefully, I come up with it when I'm editing, because I get to watch the podcast, make sure everything goes well. Or you can hope for Alexia figuring something out for you.
Would you call her in, please?
Right. Yeah, right. She'll figure something out for you. She always does.
Yeah.
So good stuff,
all
buddy.
Right, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. That really helps our visibility, and leave us a review. We would so appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Good stuff, Vac.
You too, Vinny. Thanks, bud.
I'll see you online, my brother.
Okay. Ciao.